All right, today for the class today, the Getting Paid Fast, this is going to be focusing on the opportunity side of your command. Now I know I've been getting a lot of questions about it. I'm just like how to enter it, things like that. So we're going to kind of walk through that today and then go over like the extra things you can do with it.
Okay.
So if you open up opportunities on your command, you'll notice you have 3 different sections. Sorry, once my nose. So when you open up your opportunities, you'll notice you have a couple different sections on there. So you have like your listings, your buyers, and your leases. And to the right of it, what you're going to see is your potential and your probable income. I will say I get a lot of questions on that, and just like, what kind of makes that pop up, your potential and your probable. So that is a really great tool that pops up based off of the information you enter for each opportunity. Now, I will say though, it's not very useful. Oh, there it goes on the screen now. Okay. It's not very useful if you're putting it in at the very end. So I will say a lot of agents get in the habit of just, once everything's pretty much almost done. And then you're like, okay, I'm going to enter it in command. Like I have all my contracts now, I'll upload it all, get the DA. When you enter it in that late, the potential and probable income really isn't going to show for you throughout the process, right? So the earlier you put it in, the more accurate it'll be. So that way you can see going through the transaction, like, hey, that's my potential and probable.
Okay.
Now for creating an opportunity. So you'll see at the top right, there's like a create opportunity button. It's kind of like a teal. One thing I want to point out for anybody in coaching, if anybody's listening in coaching, please note that you can see on mine, see how I have an MC 1108 coaching team B, and then I have Kirsten Elaine Monreal. Mm-hmm. So if I if I create the opportunity under the coaching team, when you get your DA, it's gonna say MC 1108 coaching team, and then it'll say your name below it. It is not necessarily a problem, but I bring it up because if you're a person that is pulling your own reports, so you go into my KW and you're pulling like your associate production, you are not going to pop up under individual associate because you submitted your opportunity through the coaching team and it goes off of command. You will have to go under team and find it there. Does not affect awards at the end of the year because we pull you out of there. But just so you're aware, if you're somebody that's looking at your score and you are in that coaching program, you're gonna see that you have a coaching team on there. So I suggest just create it under your name so that way you know it's not there. Just a reminder to make sure and remind your MCA, or if you have a TC, have the TC put it in there that you have that coaching fee getting deducted.
Isn't there like a section that you can manually input on opportunities? Like
for coaching?
Yeah.
Yes. So you'll have, when you submit your commission, you can add in a note at the side, or you can add them as an agent. So now we'll go ahead and create an opportunity. So you'll click on the little create opportunity button, and this is where you're going to go ahead and put in all that information. So notice how I created it. I clicked on my name first, so it says owner me. But if you did click on that team there, it's going to label it under the team. Opportunity type, so listing, buyer, landlord, tenant. whichever one it is. Client. Just reminder, you can't name a client on your opportunity unless they're in your contacts. So if they're not, it'll give you the option to create a new contact for them. Okay. You can add a co-seller if you'd like. Opportunity name, I will say my own personal preference. I like to put the address of the property on the opportunity name. So then that way when you're looking at your opportunity list, you're seeing addresses instead of like just people's names.
Do you typically create an opportunity to say you have somebody that's qualified, so you're looking to buy, but there's no address there? Do you create an opportunity?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I would create an opportunity because you'll see once we create this one, there's like the sections. So you want to create it as soon as you're looking because then they're going to just be in that looking section. And then it will calculate that potential and probable income. And then as you guys get an offer accepted, then you can just move them over and add in that stuff. You can also do custom tags for opportunities. So for example, I know even though it is like sectioned off, like listing buyers, tenants, or landlords, you can do tags. I will say it is nice to have a tag if you're somebody that goes through all opportunities. Because when you click, which that's personally how I like to go about it, when you click on all opportunities, it gives you your whole list. So if you have tags, it's a lot easier. You can see like, okay, these are my buyers, these are my sellers, these are my leases. Estimated close date. So again, this is estimated. You can change it at any time. Let me do that. There we go. Estimated listing price, and then you'll do your commission rate. I did do listing. And then you'll do your commission rate, which this is a percentage. Just keep that in mind. So opportunity phase. So this one's gonna be cultivate and watch is that first phase on there. Now, when you are in these phases, so when you first create it, it's gonna open up here. I'm gonna click on the sales pipeline / listings so we can see those phases. So these are your phases here when you first have it in. So to kind of add on to your question, Oscar, this is where I say like you want to have them in it. I know this one's for listing, so for buyer it'll look a tad bit different.
Wait, how'd you get to that tab?
So when I created the opportunity, it opened up inside here.
Okay.
And I clicked sales pipeline / listing cultivate up in the top left corner.
Oh, I see.
And then that will take you back to like the pipeline view. Now, these different stages you can change, but this is where I say it's nice to have them in there earlier because then you have your whole pipeline in one place. Like okay, I have this person looking to buy still. I have this person that I need to schedule an appointment with. That's a potential seller if they're in cultivate. So it's nice, I would say, to put them in prior, pretty much as early as you can, so then that way you see your pipeline. And again, that ties into the potential and probable income, because then you're seeing your potential and probable income. And I will say, watching it could be up, and then if you end up losing one that's come out, and or you get another one and it goes up, seeing the fluctuation helps a lot for people to really understand their conversions too, if you're putting them in soon enough.
So right now you just leave it at 0. I know it says 0 right there. Mine shows 0 on that one. I just created it too. Just keep it at 0 on the dollar amount.
Oh yeah, you can keep it at keep it at 0, or you can put in a dollar amount.
Got it.
Yeah, for this one, since it's just a mock one, I just kept it at the 0 amount. Something else I want to touch on here is if you'll see there's a pencil that says stages and checklist in a little box at the top. So when you come into here, how I said you can change those stages, this is where you can do so. So if you don't like, these names, you can edit those here using that pencil. You can add stages, and then there are also checklists you can create for each stage, which I do highly recommend. So for example, when they're on watch, so you can click on this little 0/0 items to create it. And remember, these are going to go on each one. So every time you create a new opportunity and listing that you already did those checklists, it's going to automatically pop up. So if you want to, say, oh, I want to reach out to them X amount of times, like you can put that on here on this checklist. I will say that's probably something that people do not utilize very much. That is insanely valuable to have. Because remember, you want to think with the end in mind. So right now you may be like, oh, I only have a couple deals. I know what I need to do. Like, I'm fine. But one day those couple deals, you want them to be 20 deals. You want them to be 30. You want them to be a higher amount. So by creating these checklists now, you'll have that bone structure in there to where when you get to the point that you're like, okay, I need to hire somebody or something, an admin to help me with this, there's a checklist right there. It's already built in. You've had it built in there. You don't have to worry about backtracking or doing anything like that. And you can handle that volume a lot easier, because once you get to a certain amount of volume, those things are going to slip through the cracks, the little things that you want to do. So creating these checklists really will help with that, so that way none of those do slip through the cracks. Now, this is just for that first stage that we're in. So these are just those stage names for the first section. If we go back to listings cultivate, you'll see there's an appointment section. And again, if you click on your stages and checklists, it'll take you to that same screen, where you'll put your scheduling, your scheduled, and your kept. Again, you can change those names if you don't like them. You can even add stages. So if you want another stage added that you personally do, you can even add stages. Client updates. So so if you click on that little settings icon next to client update, and you come into here, what you can do is you can create an email. So there's a default email template that it'll send them with client updates. But if you're not updating your opportunities, don't turn these on. Because you don't want an update to be hasn't been accessed or something. So this will send them updates on where they're at on their transaction. So this is super nice because, again, you want to make sure you're updating in command though. As long as you're updating in command, instead of you having to go and then update somebody else on what you just entered, it'll just send them an update.
Okay.
Again, you just have to come in here and turn them on. And then it is a default email template, which you can preview right now. So this is a preview of how it looks. So obviously it'll swap for your name in the top right. It'll put your logo in the top left. And then it gives them a summary of all the tasks that have been completed. And so it'll give them the address name, the tasks that have been completed, and then gives them your information again. So it's just a nice little update. Again, another thing that I don't see very highly used, mainly because you do need to update in command. But like I said, you're doing all these things anyways. And once you get to that volume, it's going to be a lot harder to remember them. So I do suggest to get in the habit of creating those checklists and going in your opportunities, creating them as early as possible, and checking off those tasks. And then if you set this up, it's another added bonus where it's going to send them an update each time. Oh, hey, this one was, this task was completed. Just keep that in mind if you are gonna do this when you set up your checklist.
Okay.
Because if it's like, oh, send so-and-so a text, maybe you don't want them to also get an email that says they sent you a text, you know?
Right.
Okay. Or you know what? Before we leave this area, I'm going to touch on something just a little bit that we're going to see a little bit down the line too. So there's a tab here that says recurring deductions under the opportunity settings. I'm not sure how many people have noticed this or not, but Command did an update where they added recurring deductions. So when you go to submit your opportunity now, it pops up a little window and it's like, do you want to donate? And it hasn't, and it's already clicked on like $10 and you get to choose or say no thanks. If you're somebody that does want to donate, you can come in here and do reoccurring deductions. So that way they're just there and ready to go. But keep in mind, if you're trying to donate to the KW Cares the Lakes, so that way, you know, it's for our office to use on Red Day. Just let your MCA know that, because this one here is for international. That helps with the international stuff. So we're gonna head on back to opportunities. Get my guy. So now that I have that opportunity created, I can just click in the pipeline and cultivate, and it'll take me to it and just open it up. Okay, so one big thing too that I notice gets a lot of people just aren't aware of. So when you create your opportunity, you know, say you go through all of cultivate, you go through all of appointment, you're ready to get your DA, you know, get your stuff going. The Market Center cannot see your opportunity unless it's inactive. So I see it a lot where people try to submit and their opportunity is still in like appointment. It has to be inactive. So just make sure it is inactive before you do that stuff. So we're gonna move it over to active. Oh, I might have, no, I did. Oops, okay, under contract. So again, you want to make sure you submit for your DA as soon as you get those commission instructions. You never know, you know, maybe MCA isn't here, outside or something, or there's meetings all day. You don't want to wait to the last minute, and two, because that's how things can slip through the cracks, right? So I do recommend to get your DAs in as soon as possible. So that way, one, you have it, you can already, you know, get it all uploaded and get it over to escrow. And two, just so that way you can get paid as fast as possible as well. Because when you don't get your DAs in on time, even if escrow sends a whole check, that now we still need to issue DA, you know, get your approval before we can cut those checks. So it just delays your money more than necessary.
Okay.
So I do recommend to get those guys in as soon as possible. Now to get your DA, what you'll want to do is when you see your opportunity here, so say, you know, you're ready to just get that guy going, you'll click on the three dots and go to view details. Now this first screen is just your property details, so if you ever do need to like change anything in here, you can always click the little pencils by the columns and edit those. I will touch on this too real quick. Marketing is a brand new tab in here, and it is really nice because if you click on marketing, it literally gives you recommendations for how to market this opportunity.
How did you get that tab?
So when you open up your opportunity, it'll pop up here, and it's right next to details. It'll say marketing.
And this is to, okay, so marketing for that opportunity.
Yes. Yeah, so I was saying this one's a newer tab. So they added this guy a little bit. It was in the last couple updates. And it's super nice because it just gives you options that are recommended. And then you can create it, and then if you don't like them, you can create a design right through here. And you can also create paid campaign just by clicking that. So it all kind of ties it in there for you. So that way it can help you market, your listing or for your buyers.
I think I must have done something wrong. Haven't seen that screen, so.
Yeah.
Here?
Oh, it's probably because it's a buyer.
Oh.
Yeah, because it'll pop up on your
listing.
listings one. Yeah, it'll pop up on your listings one, but not on your buyer one.
I see.
So if you're doing like a landlord lease, it's there, and then if you're doing a listing, it's there. If you're doing a buyer or a tenant, then it won't be there, because it doesn't necessarily have something to like pull from. Okay, now for the DA, in order to get that guy, you want to go to your offers and commissions, and we're going to add a new offer. Now, if it's a listing, you have options. You can put in like every single one of the offers you get, and then you can use this to kind of present to them and compare it. Or you can just put in the offer you're accepting. It is up to you on that front. But I'll say if you are having lots of offers and a lot of them are very similar, it can be nice to put them in here just so you can kind of see it. Okay. So when you create your offer, it'll have you just put a name to it, put an offer date and a close date. For parties, you will have to put the opposite side. Go ahead, and then there are like two little buttons here. I'll say they get missed a lot. It's like pre-approved and pre-qualified, so you can always check those. And then you also need the opposite side's representation name. So when you're doing that stuff, just remember to pull that guy out. Terms, I will say this is normally I would put in the finance to cash amount and everything, but I will tell you on new builds, it's tricky because it's not going to equal out when it comes to new builds.
Because sometimes it's not a percentage, it's an amount.
Yeah, sometimes it's like an amount, because a lot of times they don't give you a flat rate. So for that, if it's ever like that, you can just put it all in one box. So that way it's all in one. Yeah, it's not gonna, hurt anything if you put it all in one box.
So this is a buyer, right?
This one's for a listing.
Oh, for a listing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll say buyers, I normally like to do listings as examples because buyers have less in it.
Got it.
Than the listing stuff.
So why would it have finance if it was a sell listing?
Because it's all a set template.
Got it.
Yeah, it's just a set template. So you can put it in like this, or you can just take it out and just do that. But this is for the offer, that's why. Because this is what they're offering.
Got it, okay.
And then again, you can add, if their seller will contribute anything like that, you can add that there. Or if there's a termination option. Agent analysis. This is purely for you. However, you can put stuff in here if you want. However, once we save this, you have the option to send this offer to somebody to present it. If you send it to somebody, it's gonna send your agent analysis. So, yes, it's only for you, but other people might see it if you share it. So either be cautious what you put in it or don't share it. Okay, so now that we have that in there, now what you are gonna do is just accept the offer. So once you accept it, then you wanna manage your commission. And again, this is so that way we can get that DA out, right? So it'll tell you in general information if there is anything you're missing. So we're missing a contract date. To add that, we would edit general information. add in our contract date. Okay. Now, if you had nothing extra to it, that's all it was, just the 3%, we're all good here, then you can just submit it like this. If you do have anything extra though, so if we come down here, it's going to show all your split, how much is coming out for royalty, how much is going to company commission, all of that. So then Anna even tells you where you're at on your account. Now, say you have a TC. You need to add in TC fee. If you click on Edit Agent Payment, Extra Payment Options is down at the bottom. You can add item, a deduction. Now, you never ever are clicking concession unless you had a conversation with Sophia or Jay and it was okay. A concession takes it off the top. It's coming out of your gross, so before all of our splits, right? So that is something that does have to get approved. I will say, I think I've seen in like the whole time here, so most of the time you're going to be doing deduction.
And then that goes for, like you said, like TC fee, or
Correct.
say you're like giving.
Yeah, so this would be
credit out of your
TC fee
commission.
if it's a referral. You can put it in here. If you're giving a credit, you can add it in here. Pretty much everything will be in here. Now, this is really important because if you submit your DA and you don't have this on here and you go to Jocelyn and you're like, hey, I forgot I have to, credit this person. We can no longer add in companies like that. So then she's going to have to terminate the whole thing, redo the opportunity, or redo the offer, and put that in there and resubmit. So just make sure if it is like a referral to another person, or if it is a TC that's never been used, make sure it is in there.
So when it shows your cap percentage, is that percentage using the current opportunity?
Yes.
So after that opportunity, you'll be at that percentage?
Yes.
Okay. Got it.
Now for the deductions, keep in mind if it is like a referral, you do need to add in their tax ID and stuff, which they should have given it to you on the referral agreement. Okay. So that, again, that's how you would add TC. It's how you could add a referral to somebody. That's how you can add pretty much anything. Like I know we were discussing the coaching fee, you could also even add your coaching fee into deductions.
So on mine, I don't know if this is appropriate, I just put like a note.
Yeah, you can do it that
I
way
just
too.
put like PC,
Yep.
you know.
Yeah, so if you wanted to like see the money coming out, then you could add it in deduction just so that way you can see, okay, this is how much I'm making after it. But if you're not concerned about necessarily seeing it on your command, then yes, you can, and because it's faster, to be honest, you can just come up here and add a note, and then just put in here, PC coaching Gabriel McVeigh.
Cool.
Or just PC coaching. We know who it is. There's anyone right now, so yeah, you can do it either way. The only difference is if you put it in deductions, you're putting in the amount or percentage, so then it's going to change your agent gross commission and your net pay here. But again, you're good the DA after, so as long as you're okay going off of just the DA, then you're good. Now, if it is, you can also add co-broker payment, and you can do this here. So this, you can also do it this way if it is this would be if it's a referral and you have all their information, you can put it in here for co-broker payment. I have had people put in deductions, it's fine either way. Again, it's just looking different on your command. When you add the co-broker, you're seeing like co-broker, So that way, like, you know, okay, that's a referral, versus if it's a deduction, you're just seeing the person's name. Or the agency name. Now, add another agent. I will say this confuses people a lot because they'll try to do this for like referrals. This is only another agent in our office. It is not going to give you anybody else. So if you are doing an inside referral and it's going to an agent in the office, then do it this way. And you'll do it through here. So, say, see, I normally use Miguel as my example and others too. It confused me. So, see, when you type in somebody's name, it's just going to give you, so I typed in Miguel. Obviously, there's more Miguels in KW other than 2. You know, that's just our office. And then you'll go ahead and just put in, you know, how many units they're getting and such, and then it'll automatically calculate for you. So, we'll say they're getting 25, save. And then now he is down here as another agent. However, when you do that, we did it by agent units. And my unit still says 1. So you do have to come back into your agent payment details and change yours to be correct. I will say I see that a lot because like it's just
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
Yeah. So just make sure and go back and edit that, and then now your net to pay has updated. Okay. Now documents. This is what I call Jacqueline's folder because this is where Jacqueline goes in and reviews everything for compliance and such. So the first thing you do when you open up your documents is pick checklist. Choose if it's residential, land, or commercial. And then it's going to give you 3 folders listed under contract closed. Again, another question I get a lot, what contracts do I need for compliance purposes? Command gives you a list, but again, if you're not getting your opportunity in early enough, that list is pretty useless to you because you can't see it yet. So that's another benefit of just like getting it in early where yes, like Jacqueline has a list that I know she gives you guys and everything. And I'm sure if you're coaching, you have one from Gabe too. But they do have this one here as well where it's telling you everything that's required. Again, I really highly suggest to open it as soon as possible. So that way as you get these documents, like especially if you're TCing your own file. If you're TCing your own file as an agent, please create this opportunity as early as possible so then that way as you're getting these documents signed, you can upload them immediately. I will say I've uploaded documents and like when you wait till the end then you just have like the giant PDFs, like they have to go back and it's so much easier if you just upload them as you get them signed. And again, it does tell you everything required so that way like you also too have kind of a guide here for yourself to know everything you need to get. Now that is just the listed tab. Again, if you go into under contract, that's what gives you the rest of your tabs where you can upload your DA, your purchase agreement and everything like that. And then closed, not too much required for this one, but I do like to touch on this because most people don't keep these. Conversation log, email record, text record. It is so much easier if you keep track of that stuff throughout your transaction, so then you can just upload it. I will say for me personally, like we all have unlimited drives with the KW, your KW email, and I personally, I just have like a folder that says clients, and like when you open it up, each of my clients has their own individual folder, and I have all of our email records as we email and stuff. I'll save them, put them in their folder. Text messages, I got Drive on my phone. Screenshot, drop it in the folder real quick. It's not as difficult once you have it all there because then you can just go to like a combiner, a PDF combiner, and you're like, okay, I know I need all these. You can just drop them all in, it'll combine it, and then you can upload it to command.
Just a
Oh, and I saw it too. I was like, what's going on? But so yeah, I'll say that's how I do it. You can do it many, many different ways, but I will say I think that's something people struggle with a lot, especially the text records. Emails are easy to go back and pull.
Right.
Text records get kind of annoying. If you do have like, for me, I have an iPad, so like I do it on my iPad, and I'll just like, so that way I can fit more in the quotes. But if you do have like a Mac, it's a lot easier too, because you can go in and like just pull them all. Okay. Now, so that's about it for like the document side. Now, again, kind of similar with opportunity, with the DA. I know I said like, you know, uploading them as you go, which 100% please upload as you go. But also like making sure you get those submitted in a timely manner. So that way Jacqueline can go through them. If you submit this the day your check is closing, like Jacqueline has lots of other things too, you know? So it makes it very difficult, because we all know Jacqueline is very nice and she'll just drop everything and do it. But it makes it very difficult, because hey, you thought it was hard uploading those. I can imagine how she goes through and reads all those all the time. So I do recommend to please get those in there as soon as possible for her, so that way she can review them and really go through them with a fine-tooth comb. Again, and also you can always, because I know I'll hear like sometimes they're like, well, I don't have this closing thing yet. I don't have this yet. You can submit to her and send her an email, send her a message and say, hey, that's not everything. I'm waiting on 2 things, but I wanted to get this over to you so you could, you know, kind of pre-review. You can always do it that way and batch it. So that way, as you know, you're done with something, and each folder has its own submit button. So if you've got enlisted done and you're working on under contract, just submit listed. You don't have to submit under contract. So if you get through all your listed and you're just working on it on under contract, because I know I heard a lot where people are like, oh, I didn't know you could do that. You can just submit your listed and then have her go through it then. I do want to touch a little bit on how mine says start a transaction. So that is because I have my DocuSign connected. Start a transaction will pull from DocuSign instead. Now, I'm not sure how much everyone's been in their DocuSign, but when you first set up your DocuSign, it took you into what's called DocuSign Rooms. That is what is connected to your command. In DocuSign Rooms, you get to create a folder. In that folder, you can have all your documents. So instead of you dragging from your computer, you can come this way and it'll give you your working folders, and you just click on the folder you want, and then it'll give you all the document names in a drop down when you go to upload them.
Bless you.
Thank you. So DocuSign is really nice, and DocuSign also connects to your zip forms. So if you connect your zip forms inside your DocuSign, it can make it a really nice funnel for you guys where zip forms feeds to DocuSign, and then you come, and when it comes to uploading, you just click on your DocuSign folder, and then you're able to just use the drop down and just select. But make sure you name them good if you do it that way. 'Cause it doesn't show you pictures, it just shows the name. Yeah, so that is another way to do that. If your DocuSign is not connected for whatever reason, if you just go click on your name in the top right and click on your settings When that loads, it's literally the first thing you see is your DocuSign. Now, another thing about making sure you have all your documents in here, obviously for compliance so you can get paid, but you also have this export documents at the top of your screen in Command. So anything in Command, like it could be years from now, and if somebody wants something, you can come back here and export your documents and get it for them.
Oh.
So it's a really nice thing to have, but you have to have everything in there. So that way, at any point in time, somebody's like, hey, you sold my house, whatever, and they have questions or something, you can come in and pull it up. And it makes it so much easier.
Yeah.
Another thing is you also have a generate transaction summary that you can download at any time that will give you a summary of everything that occurred in that transaction. So if you have checklist, the items that you checked off, the documents you uploaded, the offers you received, and then that way everything is in one nice summary. I will say I've heard that like some people like to see that, like especially like sellers. So that's also something cool that you can do where you can print it at the end and be like, here's everything that went over in this transaction.
Sweet. So there's like a lot of tools.
Yes.
But a lot of people don't use them.
Correct. There's a lot
Make it
of
a
them
lot
in here.
more easy if they just from the beginning started with
Yes.
these processes.
Yes. And I will say, the Gutierrez team will attest to that. I know Brenda created a very nice one. They use it very heavily, going through here using the checklist and things like that. So it really does work. But again, you need to put the opportunities in there. And the checklist, it's a one and done. Once you create them, they're there. Mm-hmm. And then it's just each one you're checking off those items. And then you also have to, like at the bottom, it'll show you your ratio and your activity and anything closing this month. So you can also see kind of here, like where you're sitting on each thing. And then the all opportunities, I know I mentioned it, so I just want to click on it. All opportunities, again, this is where you just see the list of all your opportunities instead of going through the phases. Discussions, so that's if you had any on the opportunity, then it would pop up here. Okay. Does anybody have any questions regarding anything I just went over or anything you thought I was going to touch on that I didn't?
No.
No?
No, it's pretty straightforward. Like you
Awesome.
said, as long as you use it.
Yeah, I will say I think the like biggest hidden things in here is gonna be like the checklist. Like putting in those checklists, the marketing for the listings are like more of like the hidden stuff, I'll say, that like a lot of people just don't know about that's there.
Question. So I went in and I put in a test content,
Yeah.
and then I went ahead and I did a test opportunity. Now remember when you said when you put the opportunity name, you'd probably be best to put an address.
Mm-hmm.
If I forgot to do that, how do I go back in to edit?
Yeah. So if you open it up, click on your three dots, go to view details, so you're back here.
Uh-huh.
Under details, you'll see key information. Click on that little pencil, and then here's your opportunity name, and you can change it here.
Oh, okay. I was looking for that little pencil. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Any other questions?
And the only thing I would add to that, just to like you said, is just, and I think this is just in emails, working with the database, just be very consistent on what you name things.
Yes.
And stuff like that, so that it's not something new every time and you're trying to figure it out. Like, just make sure we're consistent with that.
Yeah, 100%. And that's where I say, like, I think the checklist helped with that a lot, because then, like, you know, you have your clear, concise, this is what I need to do for each thing. And there's no, like...
Well, I'm kind of trying to set my command, since now I have one, like, from scratch. When
Yeah.
I jumped in and I did it for over there, not all the steps were in place. So, like, for
Yeah.
instance, like, I added the checklist after there had already been, you know, closed opportunities and stuff like that. And so now trying to implement them going forward and having whoever your team is or your TC jump in and do that. So I'm just excited to kind of start from like a point, like ground zero, and building it up. Because like you said, like it's better to put the bone, you know, get the structure in place
Yes.
as you're building, so it's not like.
No, absolutely, because then once you get it in there, it's like you can easily tell somebody, hey, here's this checklist, can you do these items, you know?
Right. Ooh.
Awesome. Well, thank